Now, I often hear that the free market will always be the best option for everything, right? If we deregulate industry and we privatize public utilities, well, that means we'll always get the best deal, right? Competition, it'll take care of the rest. The invisible hand of the free market will come and take care of everything. You'll have great service, you'll have great prices, and everything will be fantastically awesome. That's what we hear, right? Well, I have an example where that's actually not the case. And it happens to be in Tennessee, of all places. Now, in Tennessee, rural residents are fighting to keep and expand municipal broadband access. Municipal, which means government owned, which means socialism. People in Tennessee are fighting for socialism. Amazing. This is according to a local Kentucky paper, which is the Times Free Press. And according to this paper, proponents of rural broadband services demanded that Tennessee lawmakers stop listening to for-profit telephone and cable companies and allow Chattanooga's publicly owned EPB and other municipal electric power services to expand their internet offerings to underserved areas. Now, their internet, the EPB, is publicly owned and taxpayer funded. It also happens to be 50 times faster than the internet speeds offered by the free market. Now let me ask you guys a question. If your internet was 50 times faster, wouldn't you fight to keep it and expand it to other people? I would. Fuck yeah, I would. That'd be awesome. 50 times. 50 times. I can't stress that enough. Okay. So, unfortunately, their plan is being blocked by AT&T, who, of course, does not favor this. They hate government competition, right? They don't like it. They actually like screwing their customers over with outrageous bills and for internet, for shitty internet. So, of course, they have massed to lobby against this bill. Now, let me give you some facts on our internet here, right? Now, we pay, as Americans, we pay the most in the entire world for broadband internet access. We pay nearly double what residents in London, Seoul, and ironically, or strangely, Bucharest, Romania. We pay more than the Romanians do. And residents in cities such as Hong Kong, Seoul, Tokyo, and Paris get connections that are roughly 8 times faster than we do. So we pay more and get slower speeds. Free market. So, okay. So why is that? Well, one of the main issues actually is competition, or I should say a lack thereof. For example, where I live, it's either Charter or go fuck yourself. That's pretty much your choices. Oh, you don't like Charter internet? Go fuck yourself. You can go get the dial-up down the store or down the street. A little rinky-dink internet shop for $10. You don't like dial-up? Not too bad for you. Pay $65 just for internet access. Disaster. And of course, that's the way the cable companies like it. Why is there no competition? Because cable companies, big corporations, they crush it. They lobby so that politicians will pass rules crushing competition. Right? Now, here come the Republicans. The most unlikeliest cavalry against big corporations. And this is Republican Senator Todd Gardenhire. He's a Republican from Chattanooga. He's on the side of socialist internet. And he said it best. Quote, "We're talking about AT&T. They're the most powerful lobbying organization in the state by far." Now that is their competition. That's who they're going against. This guy and residents of these small towns, they're going up against AT&T, who's incredibly powerful in Tennessee. So here's the thing. Senator Gardenhire says, look, if the free market isn't providing a service, someone else should. That someone else being the government, being the local government of Tennessee. He's on the right side, man. He said this, quote, "Don't fall for the argument that this is free market versus government battle. It is not. AT&T is the villain here, and so are the other people and cable." Well, I think it is an example of free market versus the government. But also, I have to commend this guy for being on the right side. AT&T is the villain. And I'm going to point out why. It's because AT&T provides shittier service, and in a limited number of areas. That's what I mean by underserved. So instead of, getting better, actually investing in their infrastructure and providing a better service, a faster service to compete with this municipally owned internet service, right? They instead are trying to lobby their way into crushing their competition. Now, I find that funny because did you know that in the last quarter of 2015, AT&T had a profit of $4 billion? And its CEO, a man named Randall Stevenson, made $24 million alone in total compensation. That includes $7 million in cash. Instead of using that money to invest in better speeds and better service and access in rural communities, which these people are clamoring for, they want internet, they want broadband, and they want it now. Well, instead of investing in that, they'd rather try to give lobbyists money to block the bill. I guess lobbyists come a little bit cheaper than actually doing something about the problem. And that's what they're doing. They'd rather, whine and cry about the government that, does the same thing that they're trying to do, but they do it faster and cheaper. Whine some more. Cry some more. Or you can use your money to actually get better and provide a better service. Now, let me give you an example of the whining. AT&T spokesman Daniel Hayes told The Times, quote, "Taxpayer money should not be forced to overbuild or compete with the private sector, which has proven history of funding, building, operating, and upgrading broadband networks. Policies that discourage private sector investment put at risk the world-class broadband infrastructure American consumers deserve and enjoy today." Yes, I realize that was a bit overdramatic, but seriously, he's saying, how dare you put competition from the government? And that's what's funny is that he said, you're putting the world-class infrastructure at risk. You are. Well, I just pointed out that we don't actually have world-class internet. Romania is providing it cheaper. In fact, do you know where the United States ranks on internet speed? And this isn't just price, right? We already pay more than anybody else. Let's go to speed. Now, this is according to a 2015 report by Tech Insider. Now, what they did is that they ranked countries by the average peak connection speed. They say it's a more accurate measurement, right, of speed. Now, here are the top 10 countries. Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, Taiwan. Those are the fastest places for internet. Now, is anybody really surprised at the top 5? I'm not. But that's because I'm a gamer. I kind of understand that these countries, big gaming countries, big tech-centered cultures. So they're going to have some pretty fast internet. Now, how about the next 5? This might surprise you. Romania, as I mentioned before. Qatar. Yes, that Qatar. Israel. Sweden, and Macau. Fucking Macau has got faster internet than the United States. Fucking Macau. So those are the top 10. You want to know where the U.S. is ranked? Fucking 25th. World class. Fucking world class, guys. World class. Look, man, when it comes down to it, it's not the government that's discouraging investment. It's the cable conglomerates. They come in, they crush competition either through lobbying and buying them out. And then they end up creating things that are essentially regional monopolies or duopolies. And they end up charging you more for shit service that doesn't see the need to invest in rural areas. And it's Republicans in Tennessee and rural Americans that are saying, fuck you, AT&T. We want our broadband. We actually want our socialism because you're not doing the job you're supposed to do. The promise of capitalism has not delivered. And so, yeah, we're going to turn to the government, to the local government, because you can do it better and faster because you actually know where your priorities are at. Now, if the free market or the fair market were working the way that it was supposed to, well, the government would be competing and the private industry would end up actually offering better service for competitive prices. That's not the case now. That's not the case. And another Republican, Senator Janice Bowling of Tullahoma, who sponsored this bill, she told advocates, we need broadband and we want it now. There's a market, but you choose to ignore it so you can continue to get obscene profits. And then you cry about the government competing with you. Now, Bowling, whose district includes Marion County, reminded the audience that the General Assembly passed this legislation 16 years ago, allowing the municipal electric services like EPB and her hometown Tullahoma Utilities Board to offer this cable, right? But the law restricted and continues to restrict the public power utilities to their traditional service areas. 16 years later, many rural areas still don't have decent access, said Bowling, who noted, this is about Tennesseans having access to the 21st century. And that's all they want. And once again, the free market is not delivering. Now, I'm not saying, and throughout all this, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that things should be state-owned or run. I'm not saying everything, okay? But certain public utilities seem to make a little bit more sense to have them socialized. Power, water, internet access, healthcare, mail, the post office, all that stuff, when properly managed and funded, works. And hopefully, all that stuff works. And hopefully if corporations want to get into this and want to compete with this, that they will force AT&T to start investing in a better product, a product that can justify their outrageous pricing. And see, that's what having a public option is kind of all about. And that's what having competition is all about. It's about making a better product that people will actually want to pay you more for. That's actually worth it. Instead of what they're doing now, which is holding the market hostage for shitty service. Look at that, man. Look at that. Tennessee loves their socialism. I never thought I'd say that.